Welcome to Theory of Pets. I'm a passionate pet owner with a drive to help others like me uncover the truth about the pet industry and what goes on behind the scenes. Hey everyone, welcome back to Theory of Pets. My name is Samantha, and this week I really got thinking about subscription boxes for dog products. We hear about it all the time. You see things like the Bark Box are really common where you can get dog treats, dog toys. There's some subscription services for dog food now. So I wanted to dive into this a little bit, see if it's beneficial for us as pet owners to be spending a little bit extra for that convenience of having products shipped to our door. I also obviously like the idea of being able to get high quality products shipped to your door. If you live in a rural area like I do, there's probably only one or two different pet stores that you have access to locally, and they don't always stock the highest quality products. They stock the stuff that sells. So often it's cheaper products or lower end products that are more popular. So I wanted to look into a quality product and a quality product that you could get shipped to your house. So I stumbled across the Naked Dog box, and of course the name's funny. The Naked Dog drew me in, but the reason that it's called Naked Dog is because it's premium dog food with the best ingredients without all the artificial preservatives, fillers, things like that. So it's the Naked Dog. It's just true, honest, high quality dog food without all that extra stuff. So I stumbled upon the Naked Dog box, and I actually was able to speak with Marco Giannini, who's the CEO of Naked Dog, and he told me about the product, how it got started, the pros and cons, the benefits for pet parents, and he actually gives me some great kind of insider tips if you're thinking about subscription dog food and ways to get it to be a little bit cheaper for you to have it delivered. So check out this interview with Marco. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, jump on our website, which is theoryofpets.com. Don't forget to leave me an iTunes review. That really helps me when I'm trying to find other pet professionals to interview. And I love hearing from you guys. So share your comments, questions, suggestions, anything like that. I'm always happy to hear. So here is my interview with Marco. So I got the Naked Dog box. I got one as like a review, just to review with my dog. So I received that last week. I checked out the food, and we got a package of Zook's treats, which we've tried in the past, and obviously my dogs love them. So it's important to me to feed natural and, to find higher quality products. I think a lot of pet owners don't realize what's out there and as far as what the good choices are. And I don't think a lot of people realize what they're feeding their dog. A lot of people, I think, go by price or recommendations from what other people are feeding and popular brands, and I don't think they realize what's in them and the harm that those kind of products can do to their dog. Anyway, so if you want to just tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the pet industry.
Great. My name is Marco Giannini. I got started in the pet industry in 2004. I accidentally walked into the pet industry, got very lucky getting into it. I was wanting to do a beverage company, an all-natural beverage company in 2004, and I thought maybe I could try my hand at that. I actually ended up meeting someone who was a manufacturer of dog treats, and I thought, well, what if I can do a natural dog treat that had added health benefits to it? And so I started this treat in 2004 called Happy Hips. It was a company that I founded, literally living on my dad's couch, out of the garage type of company. And it was a good-for-you treat. That was exactly what it said it was. It was Happy Hips. It would have glucosamine and chondroitin in it, and it was a very beneficial treat for hips and joints for dogs. So it was really forthright. It was really kind of new in the whole advent of humanization of pet treats, of putting a brand and a product name, giving a product name life is what we were trying to do. It was back when vitamin water was very popular back in 2004, and a lot of beverages and human products were very popular and had a lot of life to them. We really wanted to bring life to the pet industry, to healthy products. And that's how I started in the industry back in 2004. Fast forward in 2013, I decided to become more vertically integrated. I had sold the company, Dogs Well, and was not associated with it anymore. And in 2013, I really wanted to really try to find a product that we could create to get us closer to the consumer at a better price for better products. In order to do that, we needed to create our own retail, and we needed to create our own products. That way we could save on cost, save on price, and give a better product to the consumer at a better price and faster. And so we started the Naked Dog. And the Naked Dog has been a wonderful ride. I started in 2013. We opened up retail store locations in 2014 in Southern California. But in 2016, as we continued to grow, we realized that our private label brand, which is a very, very health-conscious, grain-free, potato-free brand called Naked, which is dry dog food, dry cat food, which is very healthy, we wanted to get it to the masses, to the world. We want to get outside of Southern California. And that's when in 2016 we had the idea for the Naked Dog Box, which is a subscription box of dog food, which is gluten-free dog food that we're talking about, which is curated for your dog with 5 simple, easy questions that are asked in the beginning. And it's sent out every 2 weeks. And it's a best product, best price kind of situation. It's a really affordable product. You're getting a grain-free, gluten-free product that you would get for either between $18 and $30 every 2 weeks, and you get a surprise treat every time. And it's a specific amount of product for you and your dog. So it really helps you with obesity is a huge, huge part of our world, and we really want to take away obesity in pets, and we want to make it easy for the pet parent to feed that dog. So we give you an exact 2 weeks worth of food that's meant for your size dog and appropriate for your dog.
So 2 of the things that really stuck out to me, one, I love that you talk about how, the trends in humans diets, we're now seeing kind of leach over into the pet industry. That's something that I've noticed as well. And I think a lot of pet owners are picking up on that. But I think a lot of education still needs to be done about the different diets and how to feed dogs. We know how to feed ourselves, but dogs are so different. So I think that's really important. And to the obesity epidemic, listeners that listen to my podcast regularly, I talk about it almost every week. It just keeps coming back around, no matter what you're talking about, exercising, feeding, treats, things like that. So 2 things that I think are super important for people to understand too. And it's one of the things I noticed, as I mentioned, I received my first Naked Dog Box last week. And so speaking of those 5 questions, I answered, we have 3 dogs, but I answered the question for one of my dogs. She's a chocolate lab. Labs are known, I think, to be one of the most commonly overweight breeds. And it's an issue that we've had with our chocolate lab, Sadie. So I get the box, and I love that they come with a scoop that's, designed for your dog, how much you should be feeding your dog, and that the food is geared toward your pet for a healthy lifestyle, not just getting all the nutrients that they need, but, staying at an optimal weight and getting the best things for your dog, their size, their breed, things like that.
It's very interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, if we could all understand the proper nutrition and had the time and capacity to feed home-cooked meals for our dogs every day with the proper nutrients, the proper supplements, and the proper nutrition, life would be perfect. But it's not, right? So what we need to do is we need to figure out solutions for our pets. And as pet parents, what we wanted to do with the Naked Dog, we wanted to take the guesswork out of it. And we've actually had calls. We just launched the Naked Dog Box in January, so it's brand new. So we have consumers who are on their 4th and 5th box. It comes every 2 weeks with the exact portion you should be feeding your dogs. And I've gotten feedback from consumers that within 2 weeks, they notice a change in their dog's physique. And actually, they get a little bit startled because all of a sudden they can feel the outline of the top 2 ribs in the rib cage, and then it becomes very solid from there. And that's really what you're supposed to see in the dog. You're supposed to see just the partial of the top of the rib cage, and then they're supposed to be kind of filled out from there towards as you go towards down the torso and the body of the dog. And so when a dog loses, they're a 45-pound dog and they lose 3 to 4 pounds. They're a 70, 80-pound dog, they lose a few pounds. The amount of energy that your dog receives and gets and what they can do for their lifestyle. They get more energy, less likely to get heart problems, less likely for diabetes, less likely to have issues with joints and hips. The dogs with joints and hips problems, that's one of the top killers of dogs is arthritis in dogs as they age. If you can keep their weight low and keep them on the appropriate weight size, you really have an opportunity to have a longer, healthier life with your dog. And at the end of the day, it's a Naked Dog, whether it's our company at the Naked Dog that's helping you out or it's another company. What's our goal? Our goal is to have a longer lifespan with our adult dog. You got a little puppy who's wonderful and a little hectic sometimes and tearing up furniture. You've got a wonderful adult dog in your life for about 5 to 7 years, a really healthy being. And then you've got your senior years for your dog, which can get very challenging. And at the Naked Dog Box, and I'm sure with all your listeners, we want to expand that adult time with our dog, right? We want it to go from 5 to 7 years to 7 to 10 years, or sometimes even 10 to 12 years. And if we can do that with a 30 to 50-pound dog or a 50 to 80-pound dog at the Naked Dog, because we're feeding the appropriate amount of food, that really helps. It's really interesting about obesity in dogs. It's not it's very clear what to do to help dogs. We have to feed them the appropriate amount. But when we get a bag of dog food and you get a 30-pound bag of dog food at your local pet store, and it says give them 1 cup or 2 cups or 3 cups or 3 to 4 cups, everybody kind of fills in a cup and they see what their dog eats and they're not really paying attention to it. And how many times a day do I feed it? The Naked Dog Box, it's twice a day. We give you the exact scoop like you said, and we give them the appropriate amount of food. And they start seeing a difference in their dog within those first 2 weeks. And every 2 weeks you get fresh food that comes. So, and of course we want to treat our dogs, right, Samantha? I mean, we want our dogs to be happy. We want to, part of the reason why we treat dogs in the first place, and I grew a treat company from zero to something that was national. The real reason we treat dogs is because we want to feel better about ourselves, right? We want our dogs to come to us and wag their tail, and we give them a treat, and they sit, and they stay, and they pet us, and they love us, right?
Sure.
It's a lot of affection that we get from dogs when we treat dogs.
Yeah.
So we love to overindulge dogs. It's totally natural, just like we overindulge ourselves and our friends and family. But if we can do it the Naked Dog Box, we can provide you with the right amount of food every 2 weeks. We can provide you with 1 treat or 1 toy every 2 weeks that you can play with your dog, or you can give him a little bit of indulgence. Great. You've got a great balance in your life with your dog, and then your dog can live a couple of years longer in that adult time frame. And that's really what we're looking for, is to preserve that wonderful, the walks we take with our dog, or the happiness that we have with them on a daily basis when we come home from work.
Absolutely. And I was going to touch on the subscription service later, but I think it fits in really well here. And you talked about it a little bit. It takes that guesswork out. Not with every subscription service. I think we're seeing subscription services become a little bit more popular, but with the Naked Dog Box subscription, it does take that guesswork out. As I mentioned, you get the scoop that's perfectly portioned, you get the food, you feed twice a day, and it's the amount that you're going to need for that 2-week period, and then boom, another box shows up on your doorstep, you've got fresh food, and you're ready to go. So it certainly makes it easier in that aspect, but there are some other advantages to subscription services as well, and can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Well, it really depends, right? So you have all kinds of subscription services out there. Most of them are nice to have. Not many of them are need to have, right? When you look at some human food subscription services, you don't get the food every single day. When you get a nice pair of shoes or some nice shirts, you get them once a month. You don't get those. That's not your only shirt that you wear, right? Well, for the Naked Dog, this is your only food for your dog. So it really makes it very simple. Like you said, takes the guesswork out of it when you get the Naked Dog Box every 2 weeks. But some other advantages to having this subscription service is we make our food every single month, fresh, beautiful dog food. We have an amazing plant that we actually have in California, okay, manufacturing facility in California that we have that makes our food. It goes from the plant to our logistics to your home. So it goes from the cooking facility to your home in a matter of weeks. And very few people touch that box. And when you're going through traditional distribution, you have the manufacturer, you have the distribution facility, you have the retailer facility, you have the retail store, then you have the home. When you have a subscription box from the Naked Dog Box, it's literally going from our manufacturing, our cooking facility, to our logistics warehouse, which ships the boxes out to your home. So we cut out 2 steps at least. So it helps save on time for freshness of food, and it also helps save on price for the consumer. So with our Naked Dog Box, for the smallest dog, it's $18 every 2 weeks, and for the 50 to 80-pound dog, it's $30 every 2 weeks. And it depends on the size of your dog and the activity level. It's anywhere between $18 and $30 every 2 weeks for your dog. And that includes the food and that surprise treat every 2 weeks. And we can give that great price because we're going directly from our house to yours. And it really cuts out a lot of those middlemen. And so it gives a whole new meaning to, it's not farm to table like human food, but it's, let's call it, cooking facility to table. It goes very quickly to your home. And the other nice thing about it is when you do a subscription service, a subscription box like the Naked Dog Box, when you call the 1-800 number or you send an email, usually if it's between the hours of 8 to 5, you're going to call our office. If it's before 8 a.m. Pacific time or it's after 5 p.m., you're actually calling my cell phone. You're calling Marco Giannini, the CEO. Yeah, so if you have a problem after 5 p.m. Pacific Coast time, so if you're at 9 o'clock at night and you have an issue or a question and you're sitting in New York City and you call the Naked Dog Box phone number, you're actually calling through to my cell phone. So you have this one-on-one with our company when you talk to the Naked Dog Box, when you have an issue, when you have a problem, when your box is... people call when they have problems. They don't call when they're usually happy, right? And that's okay. We solve problems for people, and that's our job. And so we answer your questions right away, and I think that's really nice because you're not getting this product to a retail store where you need to ask the retailer or the distributor. You're going straight to the manufacturer, and I think that's a really nice touch. So I think price, convenience, speed, and freshness of product they're all really big factors that contribute to making a subscription box a really neat thing. And that can happen with a lot of different things, right? But we just happen to be in the pet food business and helping pet parents make the right choice for their dog.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the most important thing, and one of the things when I was doing research before the interview that I found the most appealing for me is that time. I think a lot of people don't realize, and I actually wrote an article about it, and this was a couple of years ago now, but I got so many comments from readers of the article because they could not believe how long commercial pet foods sometimes between when they're made and when you feed them to your dog, it's months in between. They sit, they're distributed, they go to a warehouse somewhere, they sit there for a little while, then they go to the retail store, they sit on the shelf there for a little while, and then you buy it. So I had talked about that time frame and how dog food expires, and I think a lot of pet parents don't ever think to look at the expiration date because they just assume that it's going to last a long time and it's coming straight from whichever company, makes the dog food, and they don't realize that it's been sitting around for months and months. So to me, that was certainly one of the biggest perks, was that we're talking cutting down months of time of that food sitting to now weeks. So that's huge.
Absolutely. It's a huge difference. The freshness of product is a really big deal, and it's important. I mean, again, I would love to be able to have everyone cook their own fantastic meal for their dogs and give them the right nutrients and the right supplements. It's just not possible for the world, right? It's just not possible for everybody. But if we can give everyone a little more better peace of mind by getting them a faster food, faster, that's more fresh into their home, I think we've got something special.
Absolutely,
and it's
I agree.
Really neat. Yeah. And other stuff that we're doing too, and we've been in touch with a couple places. We're going to start giving to the Autism Service Dogs of America, ASDA. We've got it on our site that we're hoping to support. And then also there's another place in Los Angeles called the Westside German Shepherd Rescue. We're out of Los Angeles, our company. And we're actually helping them with supporting them to to purchase a building for their rescue organization. They've saved over 15,000 dogs in their lifetime of their rescue organization. And we're hoping to reach out to other places throughout the United States and other rescue organizations and pockets of the U.S. where we can help them as well. So because we're a direct, from the manufacturer direct to the consumer, we can really reach a lot of people. We can touch a lot of people, a lot of pet parents, and I'm hoping we can touch a lot of causes as well.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's really wonderful. Kudos to you for that.
We're working on it.
It's an ongoing process. Giving back is always something that can grow over time.
Absolutely is. Obviously, the more customers we can bring in, the more we can bring back, the more we can give back.
Certainly, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, because we talked about the subscription service, let's talk about the food that you provide, because we've thrown the word natural around, and you were talking about gluten-free and things like that. And as I mentioned to you, and I personally love to educate my listeners and readers of our Top Dog Tips site about the importance of a really high-quality diet for dogs. I know a lot of pet parents just go based off price. They want something that's cheap. Some people, once they figure out that some of the cheaper brands, have fillers and things in them, they decide that maybe they're going to step it up a little bit. And so they see a bag that says, that it's healthy or that it's nutritious or that it's great for all life stages, and they just think, oh yeah, sure, this is going to be great. It's pretty cheap, and I'm going to grab this one. But really, I think a lot of pet owners need to realize how important it is to look into the ingredients that go into the food that you're feeding your dog and where those ingredients are sourced from. So that's one of the things I think that the Naked Dog really is passionate about, and you guys are trying to give the best ingredients. So can you talk a little bit on the food itself?
Absolutely. I was just reading an article at topdogtips.com this morning talking about the right levels of protein for your dog, right? So everything from the Naked Dog box, we talk about protein levels, we talk about fiber levels, we talk about the protein sources that we have, where our proteins come from, and also especially what we don't have in the product. That, I think, is where we start. That's a foundation of what we do. When we're trying to figure out, and I've been in the industry about 14 years, I guess, something around that time frame, 12, 13 years, it's really important to, when you're figuring out what product you want to create, I think you can start with what you don't want in there. So you don't want, there's no corn, no wheat, no soy. Absolutely, you don't want that in your product, right? You can't have a natural food product with that in there. What you don't want is, I don't want grain. Why do we need products with grains anymore, right? Dogs are more carnivore diets, right? Let's go potato-free as well. Potatoes are grain-free diets have exploded. They're actually growing the fastest out of any diets in the pet food, in the dog food world, growing at some estimates have it about 20 to 25% a year in grain-free diets that are growing. But what happens is, when you put grain-free diets in there, some people might actually just take those grains out and replace it with other items that are okay but not great for your dog. And potato is a very interesting one, because potato is actually is not bad, but a lot of potatoes aren't great for your dog. And at the Naked Dog box, we don't have any potatoes in our food, because potatoes are high in the glycemic index, actually, which, as I'm sure you're aware, Samantha, and your readers are aware, that the glycemic, if your products are high in the glycemic index, that means they're high in glycemics that basically turn into sugars inside your body. And so that can be very alarming for weight gain. That can be alarming for heart issues, obviously diabetes in dogs, a lot of problems. You want to keep those sugars low. And so because we're potato-free, we are very low on the glycemic index, our products, our foods, all of them, our grain-free beef, our grain-free salmon, and our grain-free turkey. Also, another known common protein allergen is chicken. We don't have any chicken in our products as well, right? So what we do is we make sure that our proteins are the first ingredient, which I think is very common, which a lot of companies do. It's very important. We make sure we have all the no's: no wheat, no corn, no soy, no fillers, no byproducts, no byproduct meals, none of that in there, right? And then we also want to make sure that we don't replace anything with stuff that might not be great. So we make sure we have no potatoes as well, to keep it low in the glycemic index. we've also done is we want to make sure that we have a protein in there, a protein amount that's good for the dog on a regular basis and for a sustainable basis for a long period of time so they can enjoy that adulthood, right? And so when you have protein sources that are down below 20%, that's not good. They need more protein. When you have them above 30 and 40%, it might be a little bit too much. You talked about kidney issues in the dogs that they might have. A little bit too much protein could be too protein rich for them, right? So what we did is we actually have a 24% protein, for example, on our beef that we have, our grain-free beef food that we have. So it's really, really good for them. Fiber levels in our foods are around 6%. You want it between 5 and 7% fiber. You don't want to go too high in the fiber for dogs because you want them to have a good stool, but you don't want to have them too low in fiber as well. And so we have between 5% fiber in all of our foods, which is really good for the dogs in the Naked Dog Box as well. So when dogs need to transition to our food, because it's a brand new food they're getting, it actually is not a difficult transition for them because it has a solid level of protein. Protein's the first ingredient. There's really no bad stuff in the food. And the fiber levels are nice and good at around 6% for the dogs. So the transition for dogs from another food to the Naked Dog Box is very, very wonderful, and there's really been very minimal issues, if no issues at all, with all the dogs who have transitioned on our food. It's been really fantastic. So I think it's really important when you're looking at a food for anyone who's feeding their dogs, any pet parent, you want to look at a number of factors, but you really also want to say what's not in this food. And if you can rattle off what's not in there and say, gosh, there's no wheat, no corn, no soy, no bad stuff, wow, that's a great start, you know? And if you can go with the Naked Dog Box or you can go with another food, there's plenty of great foods out there in the world. You just really want to look and make sure that none of the bad stuff's in the food to start with. And I think that's even with some of these ingredient panels that might be a little bit intimidating to read. If you can check those boxes and say, I'm at least keeping my dog away from all that negative stuff, I think you've got a great start and a great foundation to give your dog a little bit longer of a really healthy adult life. And you know, getting rid of the obesity, getting rid of the sugars, and getting some better health in there.
Yeah, definitely. So you talked a little bit about, we've talked about the subscription. If somebody's listening and they decide, you know, wow, this Naked Dog Box sounds like a great idea. I love the subscription service, obviously the food, you know, quality. So they are going to jump on your website, and you mentioned the prices, you know, for the littler dogs and the bigger dogs. It ranges from 18 to 30, depending on your dog size. What if somebody has multiple dogs? Do they sign up for a subscription for each dog?
So we've actually got, for your first dog, we have a great offer. You can do, first box is $10. If you use a promo code TopDogTips10.com. So we have a great promo code actually for you guys, right? TopDogTips10.com is the promo code, which is wonderful to use. So your first box is $10. Now, if you have multiple dogs, you can actually sign up multiple dogs on the Naked Dog Box for the service. Now, I will give you a little tip though. If you really want to save money and your dogs fit a similar profile and they all are good on the similar foods, you can actually combine your dog's weights and get one box.
Oh.
So I've got some people who've got a little 10-pounder. I myself have 4 dogs. Right, so I've got a German Shepherd, a Golden Retriever. We just adopted an Entel. Oh gosh, I'm going to screw this name up. An Entelbechter. Oh my gosh, an Entelbechter. It looks like a mini Rottweiler.
Oh,
absolutely gorgeous.
I've in all the years that I've been doing dog stuff, I've never even heard of that breed.
Entelbechter, I'm so screwing this up. We just adopted it. Someone just could not keep it in their home, and of course they called us because we're in the pet industry.
Of course, yeah. Of
course, we'll take the dog, right? So, and then we've got a tiny little dog, right? So we've got them ranging from 1 to 10 pounds all the way to 80-pound dog. But if you were to have a 1 to 10, let's say a 10-pound dog and a 20-pound dog, a 20 to 30-pound dog. Combine those weights together, and you've got about 35 pounds worth of pet. You could actually just get one box, and it's a huge savings because now you're getting one box in the 30 to 50 pound range, and it's $27 every 2 weeks, and that feeds both of your dogs. So that's not advertised normally on the site, on the Naked Dog box, but you can do that. We have customers who absolutely do that because I understand, the more dogs you have, you want to be able to save money.
Right,
you are going to get one. You're going to get one treat bag. You're not going to get 2 treat bags. You're going to get 1 treat bag you can share for both dogs. But you're going to get great food every 2 weeks for them, and we do have people who combine their dogs for sure, their dog's weight. And also, like I said, Top Dog Tips 10 is a promo code that you can use, and you can get your first box for $10. And the great thing is you can cancel anytime. You can cancel after the first box, second box, third box. It does not matter. It comes every 2 weeks. You can cancel anytime on the website by yourself. You do not even have to call anyone to cancel. So we want to make sure there was no pressure. We want to make sure that at the NakedDogBox.com, anyone could come. The prices were right for everyone to enjoy the food, pet parents and their dogs to enjoy the food. And we wanted to be able to give the people the ability, if they wanted to cancel anytime they could. And that's possible as well.
Wonderful. That is great. And I appreciate that tip, too, about combining the weights. I know for a lot of dogs or a lot of multi-pet owners, you may have a big dog and a small dog, or 2 smalls or 2 mediums, and that would work a lot better to save people some money. So that's an awesome insider tip, I guess I would call it.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got 2 30-pound dogs, you can get the 50 to 80-pound option. Right, and it's fantastic. It gives you exact directions on how to feed your dogs, and you're looking at $30 every 2 weeks for a super premium, grain-free, potato-free dog food with a surprise treat every time.
And you can't beat that price. I think anybody that's shopped around for a high-quality dog food, I know with our 3 dogs, we spend well over $100 a month to feed our 3 dogs a top-quality food. So $30 every 2 weeks to feed a couple of medium-sized dogs is very cheap.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much. Is there anything that we haven't talked about or touched on that you wanted to say?
At the Naked Dog Box, we really care about providing top quality food that's available to everybody. And it's really hard to do. I think it's really tricky. I hear about people who feed their dogs Iams or Eukanuva or Purina or these other brands that have a lot of fillers that aren't great for dogs. And so, I understand that the movement towards all natural, super premium pet foods it's huge, it's growing, but not everyone can afford it. And I think it's really, it's tricky. And so, we really are striving to provide top quality food at better prices for consumers. And I think by us doing a subscription box, that's allowed us to bring the prices down a little bit more and go directly to that consumer with the food, and cutting out a lot of those price points with middlemen, with retailers and distributors, right? And so if we can continue to do that and even get a better price food, we'll do it. I mean, we will continue to drive the price down to make sure that we have a top quality food that everybody can really feed. And I think that's what's most important, because for us at the Naked Dog, our goal is to create that sustained happiness, right? Get the dog at the proper weight right away, get them more active, get people going on walks with their dogs. To me, the happiest thing in the world I can do is after I go home from work at 6 o'clock at night, I can take a 1 mile, a 15-minute walk with my dog and my wife, and we're happy. And I know it sounds cheesy, but it's true. Right?
No, we do. We completely understand. We do the same thing.
Yeah, it's the best thing in the world to go on a walk.
It
right?
is. It really is.
If everyone could go on a walk with their healthy dog and have great food for them, gosh, it's an amazing world, right? There's very few people who are unhappy on walks.
Right, absolutely.
I rarely see anyone angry on a walk with the dog. It's very, very rare. They usually look very happy. And so if we can get everyone to go out there and walk their dog, if they're only doing it once a week, they can do it twice a week. If they're never doing it, if they can try it once a week to walk their dog, even without the dog walker, I'm talking you and your dog and your significant other and your friends. If you can do that, I think it makes the world a happier place. And if we can help contribute to that at the Naked Dog, we're excited.
Awesome. That is wonderful. Thank you so much for all this great information. The Naked Dog is obviously a newer product, so I hope it helps to get your name out there a little bit, and it certainly gave our listeners a lot of great information about dog food and what they should be looking for when they're shopping for a pet food. For more information on The Naked Dog, you can jump on their website, which is thenakeddogbox.com. And you heard it from the CEO himself. If you think that this subscription service might be right for you and for your pet, you can purchase your first box for just $10 using that promo code TOPDOG10. Top Dog Tips 10. Sorry about that. So I hope this answered all of your questions about specifically the Naked Dog Box and their food, and also gave you some general information about subscription services, the pros and cons there for your pets. If you guys have any questions, again, jump on our website, which is theoryofpets.com. You can leave me questions. You can either send them in a message, or you can also record them, and I may use them on another podcast in the future and answer those questions for you. Either way, I will make sure to get your questions answered. If it's something from Marco, I will pass that along to him and get the answers that you need. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and I will see you back next time. Thanks for listening.